What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. If you're new to the program, please do me a favor. Like and subscribe, follow on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube. While you're there, rate and review. It really does help to grow this podcast, and it is very much appreciated. Today's positive motivational message is relax. Take some time out of your day, time in your life, and give yourself a break. Take some rest, mental, physical rest. And I think we need to be reminded of this from time to time because so many of us are just go, go, go. We're stressed out in our brains. We're straining our bodies to the max. And you need to be reminded. Take a break. Rest, relax, recharge. It will help you. It will give you some relief in your life. In the Spanish culture, there is a term known as siesta. And siesta means to rest. It is ingrained in their culture to give themselves breaks during the day because it is important to have that recharge. Now, in Spanish culture, there is also a term known as fiesta. And fiesta means to party. So when you're all done getting rested up and relaxing, just know it's time to fiesta. So let's go ahead and fiesta our way right in to today's episode. It's episode 250 of Life's a Garden. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody! Cinco de Drinko! Drinko de Mayo! And I'm here drinking a Coors Light. Actually, what I should be drinking is a Modelo. I meant to get some Modelos for this occasion, just didn't, and I had some extra Coors Lights in the fridge, so might as well just use that. Now, you know me to be a Coors Light guy. Like, the fact that I'm not sponsored by Coors Light is just a tragedy. Why they haven't reached out, maybe one day. We can always hope. But I have to tell you, I am very quickly being converted into a Modelo guy. Now, am I ever going to not be a Coors Light guy? Probably not. It is nice to switch up your drinks every now and again, though. And Modelo just hits a certain way. Of all like Mexican lagers, you got your Corona, you got your well, maybe that's it. No, there's other one. Dos Equis, Of all those Mexican lagers, Modelo is just so good. Throw a couple limes in there. And by the way, discovered this in Las Vegas. Modelo is by far my favorite hangover beer. Like, it just is refreshing, and when you're on a hangover, Modelo hits differently. So I should really be drinking a Modelo right now, not because I'm hungover, but because it's we're celebrating Cinco de Mayo. We are celebrating Fiesta, party. It's a good time. And honestly, I love Cinco de Mayo. Very similar to like St. Patrick's Day. We've taken a cultural holiday and bastardized it into a drinking holiday. But it is still a celebration of that culture. Now, St. Patrick's Day, that is my background. That is my DNA, Irish. So I don't have that connection with Cinco de Mayo and the Spanish culture. But, or I guess Cinco de Mayo would be the Mexican culture, right? Celebration of Mexican culture, specifically. But it's still fun, And I've mentioned this before. There is a lot of similarities between Mexican culture and Irish culture. And I've broken that down before. I remember I went to a wedding. It was a Spanish wedding. One of my friends was marrying his wife, his now wife. Her family's from Mexico. And it was just a party. And everybody was so cool. And I was like, this culture rocks. Because they infused a lot of the cultural stuff into the wedding. Dude, I had a blast. And I just remember thinking, like, the Irish know how to party. Mexicans know how to party. They got great music, food. Well, Mexicans definitely edge it out on the food. They know how to drink. It's just a great time. And I am very, very happy to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I am all in on that. I'm a fan. And tonight, now, this episode is coming out on Cinco de Mayo, but, also, I should mention, happy May the 4th be with you. We can't forget that, too. This is coming, as the time of the time recording this, it is Saturday the 3rd. So, a few things have happened since I've recorded this. Tonight is a very big night. My Denver Nuggets and my Colorado Avalanche are both competing in Game 7s. Not only that, they are both scheduled at the exact same time. Which, by the way, I need to point out, why? Why would you do this? First of all, you have two teams from Denver playing. Spread those out, man. You know there's going to be fans of both. Like, I'm going to be sitting here, like, watching both TVs, chewing my fingernails to the nubs, because these are both incredibly important games. Not to mention, if you're the NHL or the NBA, people love a Game 7. Why wouldn't you want to spread those out so that you get the most ratings? You're going to get the most viewership. Because if you're more of a Colorado or more of a hockey fan, that's what you're tuning into. If you're more of an NBA fan, that's what you're tuning into. If you had both at the same time or separately, you could get all that viewership. So that part doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter. I'm going to be out at Hooligans and have side-by-side Nuggets and Avalanche. And like I said, absolutely stressing myself to the gills. I'm going to need a siesta after this shit, because it's my favorite and least favorite part of sports is the stress. Because I do like the feeling I get from just, competition, watching competitors compete. And I just love the adrenaline that comes from games like this, especially when they're high stakes, playoff, Game 7. I love it. But nonetheless, I will be absolutely stressing out. And here's the deal, folks. You'll have already known what the outcome of this game is, of these games. I am telling you right now, if both teams lose their respective Game 7s, check on me. Give me a call. See how I'm doing. There is a very decent chance I will burn half of the city to the ground. I might, by the airing of this episode, if both teams have lost, I very well could be dead or in jail. Like, it's not going to be a good day for me. Now, if they both win, I also might be dead or in jail out of just pure excitement. I might just go hog wild. I might definitely go broke because I'm just going to start buying fucking drinks for everybody. If both teams win, everybody's having a good time. especially me. If one of them wins and one of them loses, I will live with that. That will be I can live with that. Of course, I want both teams to win, but if one of them wins and one of them loses, I will be heartbroken and excited at the same time. And that is the perfect Goldilocks area for not me. It's not perfect world for me, but I will maintain. I will not be completely shattered. I will be I'll be all right. But God forbid both these teams lose. This is my preemptive apology to everybody. This is just, I'll get it out of the way now, because I know I'm going to be a menace if they both lose. And they're both, like I said, they're both playing at the same time. So I'm going to get double heartbroken all at once. Or I'm going to be like fucking jacking my dick in the bar because it's going to be so fucking awesome. I'm going to be hard as a rock. Got to get this shit out. Share it with the world. But no, I am excited. I am going to have fun. It's going to be a great time. And we shall see how it all shakes out. Lot to get, we got a lot to cover here because this is my first solo episode in a while, and a lot has happened since then that I would like to give my thoughts on. First things first, let me just say this. Thank you to all the guests over the last couple of weeks. It's been a while since we went on a nice little guest run like that. So make sure you go check out those episodes. The one with Render Me Silent was a great time. Always awesome to have a band on, and always awesome to promote local music. We had what else did we? Oh, Barry for the 420 episode. That was a lot of fun. It was a good time. Funny episode. Informative episode. And then we had Ashton on, where we talked about the NFL draft. We'll get into the draft here in a minute. I do want to kind of recap that briefly. But yeah, like I said, it's been a while since I actually got to come out here and do my own, give my own take on things. So let's just dive right in. I should give you an update or give you a recap rather of our show that we had at Craft Local. Huge thank you to everybody that came out. It was a absolutely tremendous turnout. Brian Zoller, the new owner and manager of Craft Local, thank you to him. He's been awesome. He's just been awesome to work with. Just nice guy. We're already talking about doing other shows and whatnot. Super helpful. Just super, just a good guy. An absolute good guy. Like, he's doing the right thing for the music scene here. And I love that. So, thankful to him. Thankful to all the staff workers at Craft Local. Sean for running the sound. Want to give a shout out to my friend Brandon for running merch. Very, very nice of him. And just the fans, man. Like I said, what an incredible turnout. Oh, of course, I got to mention Disposable Heroes. Those guys were awesome. The Metallica tribute band. They're like 19, I think, like 18, 19 years old. They're maybe 20, some of them. They're young cats, and they shred. They are just an absolutely great tribute band. They do Metallica. They honor Metallica by the way they perform. It's just crazy watching these young kids just shred. I'm pretty sure the bass player plays with his fingers. Like, you don't see a whole lot of that these days. That's a pretty old school method. And let me just say this too. The best part about them, the second we walk through the door, and we've been kind of communicating online, talking about promoting the show and little small things here and there, tagging each other. So that was like the most of the interactions that we were having up until playing the show. The second we walk through the door, They stand up, come over, shake our hands, introduce themselves, very respectful, very polite, just good. And that's what you want in the music community. You want to, well, first of all, it's just good to network like that and to be a positive, you want to have good rapport with each other, because then you want to work with each other again. And nothing is more irritating to me than the musicians that are stuck up and think they're better than everybody. We're all in the same boat. We're all local bands. And even more so, though, the bands that made it when they're assholes, that just doesn't sit well with me, because, hey, I'm a local band. I'm trying to be where you are. Like, we're aspiring to do what you've done. Have some fucking respect and, like, just be polite. All you gotta do is be polite, really. You don't gotta, like, respect is earned, really. But just be polite. Just be nice. What's so hard about that? Anyway, these kids were absolutely respectful and polite, and they shred. So if you haven't heard Disposable Heroes, check them out. I think they got a show at the pub station soon. Very, very cool. And I also want to mention, we have a few extra shows down the pipeline here, so stay tuned for that. May 31st is officially, we have May 31st with Pressure Not and The Old Ones, two of our great friends. I'm very excited about that. I'm just excited to play with, friends, to play with bands that we're legitimately buddies with. That's just a good time in itself. So come out to May 31st. As far as I thought we did well this show. It's been like almost 10 months since we played a show. And I don't know that it could have really gone off any better. Sure, we had some hiccups. You're always, like, anytime. I don't think there's a such thing as a perfect show. I don't think anybody's ever had a perfect show. There's always going to be something that you wish you could have done better, or that you could have changed. You can't dwell on that shit. Just know it was a good time. We had people up front moshing and dancing, and I thought it sounded good from all the videos I've heard. It sounded very good. And that's all you can ask for, man. You just want to sound good. You want to look good. You want to, you just want to give the people a show. You want to entertain. And from what I can tell, we accomplished that. So I'm very proud of that. Oh, by the way, I should mention also, brand new song. We debuted a brand new song at this show, and it went off without a hitch. Like, I love this new song. It's called A Line. If you want to listen to it, we have a full live video of it on our Facebook and Instagram. Go check those out. But really, if you want to experience it, just come down May 31st and experience it in person. It is a great song. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of what all of our guys put into it. It's one of those things where you make a collective effort, and everybody adds their piece, and then you, as a group, create this artwork, this thing that you're proud of, and it's just awesome to see it come to life. So that was like my big thing from that show, was debuting that song and performing it well, and just overall, giving people entertainment. There was people that I wasn't expecting to show up that did. People who I didn't even think liked our kind of music that said they liked how, they enjoyed the show. Very happy with that. That's honestly the biggest compliment for me, is winning somebody over. Somebody who maybe didn't like you before and they came around, or maybe somebody who never heard of you before and now they're like, whoa, dude, you really, where can I listen to your music? We enjoyed this. Or somebody who just doesn't even really like your genre of music, and they're like, that's not necessarily my vibe, but you guys killed it, and you guys put on a show. That is the biggest victory to me. Winning people over like that during a show. So, overall, great experience and great time. Very, very much looking forward to all those other shows coming up this summer. That was just the kickoff, and that's the best way to kick it off, on a high note. And now, you just try and go up from there. What else? Oh, Went and saw Tom Segura at the Metra. That was awesome. Hilarious. Tom Segura is one of those guys that I started listening to comedy podcasts, and that's pretty much what got me into doing podcasts. And he was one of the originals. He was one of the first. So I've been following Tom Segura for a long time now. Great comedian. And honestly, there's certain comedians who I enjoy their podcast more than I enjoy their stand-up, and vice versa. Tom is one of those white whales where he's hilarious on podcasts and he is hilarious on stand-up. He's probably in my current top 5 favorite comedians that are active right now. And it was just awesome to get to see him. Got to be with our friends, with Mac and Pow and his wife, Michaela. That was awesome. And when it comes to comedy shows, not just comedy, but like if it's a theater or like you're going to a play or you're watching a movie, if it's one of those settings where, you can't just be loud. It's not like a sports game or a fucking concert where you can kind of talk to the person next to you a little bit because it's so loud. There's a lot of stuff going on. It doesn't require your attention so much. You can yell, you can scream, like that's appropriate. Movies, comedy shows, things like that, it is like the opposite. You laugh when appropriate, you clap when appropriate, but that's it. Other than that, you don't fucking talk. You're just listening and you're, following along with the stories and the jokes and the plot, and not distracting other people. So anytime I go to a comedy show or a movie, like in the theaters, I have this like anxiety about me because I don't want to have to experience that. I don't want to have other people ruining things around us and being disrespectful. This was not one of those occasions. I was stressed going in, but it was a great crowd. That's what I'm saying. The crowd was top notch. When I went to Theo Vaughn, not the case whatsoever. People talking, people like just being annoying, and it's like, can we all just listen to the show? Yes, laugh when it's funny, but you don't need to be having conversations. You don't need to be like fucking around and like being obnoxious. Not the case at Tom Segura. Everybody around us was like on their best behavior, crowd etiquette, perfect. Got to experience one of my favorite comedians in a perfect environment, so I was very grateful for that. Same weekend, I went and saw Yellow Wolf at the pub station. Yellow Wolf was actually before Tom Segura. I think Yellow Wolf was on a Friday, and Tom Segura was on Sunday. Yellow Wolf, I saw him in Sturgis, and this is exactly what I was just telling you about winning someone over. Rap and pop and hip hop, that's not really my jam. I don't hate it by any means. It's just not necessarily what I would get into. You know what I mean? It's not like my go-to. Well, me and my buddy Brad went to Sturgis last year, and Yellow Wolf was playing for free at the Iron Horse. So we're like, well, yeah, let's go check that out. Brad knew Yellow Wolf. I really didn't. I think I maybe had heard 1 or 2 songs. His performance at Sturgis absolutely won me over. I became a fan that night. And so when he announced he was coming to Billings, of course, I bought tickets immediately. And that was months ago. That's one thing I hate about concerts. It's like they announce them, or even comedy shows, they'll announce them like 6 months in advance, and then you buy the tickets and you just gotta wait. Like it's like when you go to the grocery store and you're buying all this food because that's what you're hungry for at the time. Then you bring it home and 2 weeks later, you're like, I don't want any of this. And that's not the case. But I feel like the excitement level when you buy the tickets, you want to see them right then and there kind of thing, And then you got to wait. Obviously, you hype yourself back up. That was a bad example. But, so, great show. And my cousin Ellie came into town for the show. It was awesome to get to hang out with her and my cousin Elise, her daughter. We got to hang out and watch the show together. But the real highlight of that experience was getting to meet Yellow Wolf. I'm sitting at Hooligans, right? I just got downtown. I was going down to have some food and some drinks before the show started. So I go down. I'm sitting at Hooligans. I maybe was there for 10 minutes. And I turn over to talk to my buddy next to me. And I look up. And lo and fucking behold, there's Yellow Wolf just standing at the bar at Hooligans and didn't even have to take a second look. Like, he's one of those guys that you recognize immediately. He's got all the face tattoos. Like, he's not unrecognizable. It'd be really, I feel like it'd be impossible for him to, like, go anywhere in public without somebody recognizing him. If you know him. But yeah, there he is standing right there, and I didn't want to be that guy that was like, oh my god, and I'm not that big of a fan, I'm not like the guy that's gonna, I wasn't sitting there like shaking, I wasn't fanboying, but when it's a surprise for sure, and it's just like, wow, he's here, like, that's fucking cool. And again, I didn't want to be that guy that's like, oh my god, like, hey dude, like, how's it going? Welcome to Billings. Can't wait to see the show tonight. Start bugging him immediately. You want him to feel welcome. You don't want him to like be overwhelmed and bum rushed. So I just sat there and chilled. And then, slowly people started noticing him and coming up and asking for pictures and stuff. And they ended up sitting over in the corner, him and his crew. I'm assuming the other musicians and like stage hands and whatnot. They all kind of sat in the corner. They had hang on a second. Oh. People asking me about the games already. People are already hitting me up. So, where was I? Oh. Yeah, they're in the corner. They got like a bodyguard type of guy. And so I didn't, even now I really don't want to just like go over there because I don't want this bodyguard to be like, hey, no, just beyond, like, no talk, no pictures, no nothing, Well, Yellow Wolf comes back up to the bar, and now I make my move. I go over and I'm just like, I'm just totally chill. Hey, man, looking forward to the show tonight. And I caught your show in Sturgis, and it was awesome, and very excited to see the one tonight. And he was just like, oh, yeah, man, like, thanks. And I just gave him a little fist bump and went back to my beer. And that was it. That's all it needed to be. You don't want to... These guys don't fucking want to have conversations with you. Like, I would love that. But, you don't want it... 4 minutes at the most, 3 minutes tops. 3-4 minutes if you're having a conversation with somebody like that. But you don't got to drag it out. You're not going to sit there and become his best friend. My best friend. That ain't going to happen. So you just got to know when to chill. And no, but that was how we started off the night before going to the show. So that was pretty cool. What else has happened since the last time I talked to you guys? Pope Francis has passed away. One day after Easter, Pope Francis passed away, which is crazy. That's just bizarre that's how it would happen. I mean, I guess people die every day, and this was just a kind of an odd coincidence because it was a religious holiday. Now we are in, what do they call it? When they have to choose a new pope. What do they call it? Something with a C. Not cataclysm. It's something kind of like that. But anyway, so they're debating now. We still don't have a new pope. This happened like a few weeks ago. But it's the thing where they turn this, like the smoke comes on, and then you know that like the chimney smoke is white, and then you know that there's a new pope. There's all these fucking... Also, yeah, I forgot. I've been seeing all this shit where it's like some pope or predicted like the next, like the next 30 popes that were going to be. and that Pope Francis was going to be the last one, or the one after Pope Francis was the last one, and then it'll be the end of the world. And they were talking about how, like, the cathedral, the Vatican Cathedral, is that what it is? Has, like, pictures and portraits of all the popes, and there's only one slot left, so it's like, we're coming to the end of the world type thing. No. That's not quite correct. Whatever you may have heard, if you've heard this fucking conspiracy, that Pope that predicted all these things, it was very Nostradamus-esque, where he's predicting these popes and then making very, like, fluid assessments about them, and then people are, like, lining them up, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, but this is kind of like that, you know, and this kind of matches him like this because of this. When it's not a very accurate assessment. When the ones before that he was talking about had a very accurate assessment because he knew them. He already knew their information. The ones after, very loose descriptors. Also, there are plenty of spaces for more portraits of popes. It is not the last one. Whoever said that is a fucking liar. So, just throw that one out the window. It's the same thing as the whole Mayan calendar shit and Nostradamus. The world was supposed to end 10 years ago in fucking 2012. 12 years ago. So it's like, this shit comes up all the time. I doubt, yeah, whatever. Maybe the world will end, but it ain't going to be because of the Pope. Oh, shit. Oopsie. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say about the Pope. This will be, I believe, the 5th Pope in my lifetime. Which makes sense, because they're old. But the fact that they serve life, you know, it's not like presidents, because, God, how many presidents have I had in my life? Clinton, Bush. Yeah, I was born into a Clinton administration. So Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump. 5? Is that all? Feels like more. Am I missing somebody? Am I crazy? I mean, they were all 8. A lot of them were 8-term presidents. So technically only 5 presidents, huh? Same amount of presidents as popes. But like I said, they're on term limits. Where, like, the Pope is a life. Like, you serve it for life. There was Pope John Paul II. Was I believe, the Pope when I was born. Then we had Pope Benedict. Then Francis. Okay, so this will be the 4th Pope that I've experienced in my life. Which, whatever. You know, it meant a lot more when we were kids and actually raised Catholic. So, I still kind of know a little, you know, I there's part of it that's in my brain to, like, have some acknowledgement of the Pope, but you know, that's not my life anymore. I'm not as into the Catholic religion. That word almost came to me. What's it called? What is it? Okay, I'm just gonna look it up because it's gonna bug me. What is it called when you vote on a new pope? Conclave! God damn it. I knew it started with a C. Conclave. Wasn't there a movie called Conclave? And it was about that? I don't know. Okay, NFL draft. So, not a whole lot to report on the NFL draft. Obviously, the big story is Shedeur Sanders. And, you know, I don't really... After all these... You know, so much has come out about it. About, like, his interview process and just what GMs and coaches were kind of thinking. First of all, let me just say this. Cam Ward, who was the first quarterback taken in the draft, probably would have been the 5th or 6th quarterback taken in last year's draft. So this wasn't a great quarterback class. I do personally think Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback than Jackson Dart, Shuck, or, Dylan Gabriel. Like, I think he's better than most of the guys that were taken above him, besides maybe Cam Ward. But his problem isn't his play. It's his attitude. It's his personality. And that's fine when you're a wide receiver or a defensive back or a linebacker. When you're the quarterback, you can't be Mr. fucking super cool, super popular, like Mr. Attitude, Mr. fucking badass. You have to have a good head on your shoulders. You are the leader of this team. You have to be a, disciplined individual. That's why you get paid the big bucks, dude. Not because you fucking wear a chain and your dad is Deion Sanders and you're like a Nepo baby, That's not it. Because you spit some fucking lyrics or you're like, just Mr. Cool. That's not why you get the big bucks. You get the big bucks because you rally the troops, you call the plays, you're supposed to be the guy. You're the captain of the ship. And when you're acting like you're not a leader, you're acting like an individual, like you're a selfish individual, that's not going to get you the job, bro. I personally do believe the Browns was the best spot for him based on the, teams that need quarterbacks and based on the coaches available to those teams. I think this is a perfect situation for Shedeur Sanders to learn in a system, not to just be thrown right in and given the keys to the franchise. He gets to sit back, learn, develop with a good head coach and quarterbacking guru in Kevin Stefanski on a rebuilding team. I think it's a great situation. Like I said, because of and maybe this draft slide will humble him a little bit. We can only hope, but that was like the big thing that came out of the draft. There was also those prank calls. That was fucking ridiculous. The Falcons defensive coordinator's son got a hold of contacts to different players and made I think 10 different prank calls on players. For one, so immature, but two, you just fucked your dad's career, bro. He probably will. He got fined $100,000, which is crazy. These are coordinators. They're not head coaches. They're not making big money. I never even heard of this guy before, so he's definitely not making big money. So you just cost your dad $100,000. Not to mention, probably now, how could you ever be a head coaching candidate when they think that you're incapable of, guarding classified information or sensitive information? That just fucked him on ever getting a head coaching job. And it might even fuck him on keeping his job, to be honest. Because the Falcons organization also got fined. So they're not too happy about that. I would not want to be that kid when his dad found out that it was him. Because, this is a coach. Coaching dads are fucking hard asses. He's a defensive coach too. That kid got his ass beat. You can guarantee that shit. He got his fucking bell rung after that. And this is like a teenage kid, maybe even a college kid. He's not like a high schooler or a fucking, he might be a high schooler, I don't know. But he's definitely not like a child doing this shit. Other than that, I thought the draft pretty much went off how I expected it to. Most players went where I thought. As far as the Broncos go, didn't exactly do what I expected. We went with a cornerback in the first round. First cornerback off the board. So that was, we got our guy. If that's who we thought was the best cornerback available, we got the best cornerback available in this draft to pair with an already great defensive backfield. Awesome. We got a running back in the second round, not one that I was expecting or hoping for. But apparently he's good. Like, he was just one that was off my radar. He was a captain at UCF. Under Sean Payton, I think it will work out just fine. I'm not too concerned about that. And then we also had, we went with a couple defensive D linemen. We got a tight end in the last pick. We got a punter in there. It wasn't the most exciting of drafts. And honestly, overall, it really wasn't the most exciting of drafts because there just weren't that many, big names. I could see this being one of those drafts that we look back on and say, holy shit, a lot of studs came out of this draft. We'll just be like, this draft class was amazing because I think a lot of these guys are going to end up becoming good players down the line and just becoming, top shelf talent. I do like Jahdae Barron, our cornerback we got. I've listened to his press conferences and stuff. Seems like a really nice kid and just overall talented individual. So excited to have him on board. No other really big ones. Travis Hunter to the Jaguars. Jaguars completely gave up their future for Travis Hunter, which, say what you will, I think it makes sense. Jaguars are a team without a face. Nobody gives a fuck about them. They don't have any star players. This is the tide. This is the what's going to move the ship. This is the tide that will hopefully move the ship forward. And I think it'll at least help for them to have a face of the franchise. Because Trevor Lawrence ain't doing it. So this kid might. All right. I've been waiting to talk about this the entire, not just the entire episode. I've been waiting to talk about this since this happened. But we had the guest episodes and we, wasn't able to talk about it on there because we were talking about other things. This will be old news by now, okay? This will already have ran its course. That's why I saved it for the end because you've already heard all about this. And all the jokes have been made, but I have to get it off my chest. I have to be able to share this with you and talk about this because it's just so funny and absurd. Katy Perry in space. Not just Katy Perry in space, but this Blue Origin's Women in Space mission might go down as one of the absolute most tone-deaf things in history. Stunts, I guess you would call it, like a political, I wouldn't call it a political stunt, but you know what I mean? Just as a social stunt, or hey, look at us, or, it was, they were saying it was women empowerment type of thing, and then also that it was for science, somehow. It is the most tone-deaf fucking stunt in a long-ass time. If you're going up there, because, first of all, they go up there, they're not wearing space helmets, they don't look like fucking astronauts, they're wearing skin-tight fucking wetsuits with their tits hanging out, form-fitting wetsuits, not wearing any breathing apparatus type thing. I'm not even going to get into the conspiracy side of things where people are saying it was fake, they didn't actually do it. That wouldn't surprise me if that were the case, but I'm not even going to touch that, okay? Because honestly, it's actually funnier to think that they did do this. And I'll explain why. But there is some things that you're huh? That doesn't really, huh? They're not wearing space gear. Obviously, the term space is pretty loosely used here. It was a 14-minute flight, 20-minute flight, whatever. And they're basically just outside. They're not even in scientific space, legal space. Well, I guess you're in a no gravity zone, obviously, if you're floating around like that. But either way, it just seems odd, right? There's a lot of things that are odd about this. But I'm not even going to get into that, because that doesn't, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about how fucking tone deaf this is. Because if you're a woman, or, because this seems like a very, like, left-leaning type thing, like, women's empowerment, women in space, woohoo! Like, cool, like, I don't give a fuck. Women have been to space before, by the way, like, several times. This is not, like, a groundbreaking achievement, and even if this was the first, like, all-female, team to go to space, the team consisted of Katy Perry and Gayle King. Like, I think there was one person on that flight that was considered like an astrophysicist or like a rocket scientist, like actually had some background in space. Wasn't a pilot, but still like had some kind of like science degree. Everyone else is just like, and then Jeff Bezos' fucking wife is up there. So you know what this was? It wasn't women's empowerment. It wasn't for science. It wasn't for fucking anything like that. It wasn't for any movement. This was a rich bitch trip. These are rich bitches doing rich bitch things. These are all billionaire people, or like at least most of them are like millionaires. These are just a bunch of rich bitches. This is one billionaire rich bitch getting all of her rich friends together and going on a little carnival ride. Like a billionaire's carnival ride is what this was. And they were like, it's not just a ride. Like, this actually was for something. And it's like, oh, really? Well, please. Can we see your discoveries? What were your findings while you were in space? Like, did you come back with any, like, real information? You didn't? Is that because you're fucking a singer? You're a pop singer and you don't know shit about space? You weren't doing any science. This wasn't fucking science. This was a giant Instagram post. And you know why it definitely was? First of all, you know, they're up there taking up space, floating around. Katy Perry's sitting there with her fucking little dandelion, or whatever, her little flower, and she's like, you know, posing for the camera when she could be looking out the window and seeing the Earth. But no, everybody's got to like be making a fucking deal about it. And the reason it's they were like, it wasn't just a ride. No, you're right. It wasn't just a ride. It was a fucking giant Instagram post. And the reason you know it was is if there weren't cameras on that ship, would any of them have done this? Would they have done this and just told people about it, or just had the memory of it? Fuck no. This would have, none of those bitches would have gone on this flight had it not been recorded. And you can tell me I'm wrong, but you know that I'm right. For sure. Extraterrestrial. They should have sang that when they got off the fucking... It's an alien. Fucking dumb, dude. I gotta look at I can't forget anything that I wrote down here, because I wrote down a lot of fucking shit that I had to say about this. Oh yeah, okay. They're getting, you know, people are like, it's one of two ways. People are looking at this and saying this was ridiculous, this was fucking, and that's the other thing, is they're so pissed. All these chicks are so pissed that most people are looking at this and saying, who gives a shit? They're either saying who gives a shit, or it's tone deaf. You know, like exactly what I'm saying. It's a tone deaf fucking, you know, propaganda thing, or, you know, whatever. Not propaganda, but it's like a tone deaf mission. The whole thing, whatever they're trying to accomplish or promote or do, is stupid. And they're so mad about it. But, I'm sure there's plenty of, you know, there's pushback on the left where they're like, just leave him alone. This was a big deal, the big step for women, and, whatever. What if this was Ivanka Trump, fucking Carrie Underwood, and Roseanne Barr going on this trip, and it was on Elon Musk's spaceship? Then what would the conversation be? Would it be exactly what I'm saying, where it's just a bunch of rich people doing rich people things? Absolutely. As would I. As would I. If it was a bunch of Republican women, or like more on the right-wing side of things, conservative media type chicks, going into space on Elon Musk's rocket, everybody would be completely losing their minds. Like, what a waste of time and money. This was just an egregious flex of wealth. What are you talking about? This is exactly what that was. This is the same thing. The same thing. Also, the irony is not lost on me whatsoever that this was a women's mission to space that was funded by a man, built by a man, and they were flying into space in a giant penis. The irony is not lost on me, and I think that is my favorite part of the women's empowerment mission to space. Great job, ladies! Oh yeah, and they said, I think what they actually said, that the whole, purpose of this mission was to promote Blue Origin's, future project of trying to launch trash into space. Because that's what they're going to do. They're apparently that's a goal or a mission of theirs, is to start getting rid of waste on Earth and sending it into space. Well, let me just say, mission accomplished. You proved that you can do that. So, if that were the case, if the goal was to launch trash into space, mission accomplished. Houston, we don't have a problem. Send their asses back and leave them up there. Couldn't care less. They're all coming back, kissing the ground and shit, and oh my god, where are my children? I would be scared. I wouldn't want to go to space. Fuck that. As many, disasters have taken place, and hey, I saw the movie Armageddon. I'm good. I'm good on that shit. I kissed the ground and I liked it. So fucking dumb. So tone deaf. Just, it makes my fucking head hurt how stupid it is. It makes me feel, it's like watching an episode of Kardashians. It's you're just dumber for watching it. You just feel dumber after watching it. Gail King's all saying, it's so weird to, think that I'm an astronaut. Real astronauts are probably sitting here bitch, what did you just say? You are not an astronaut. You are a passenger. That's what you are. If I'm riding on if I'm taking a plane ride, I'm not a pilot, dummy. I'm not even a stewardess. I'm a passenger. If I'm on a train, I'm not the conductor. How are you a fucking astronaut because you went to space? You were a passenger on a flight, is what you were. Don't fucking try and make it seem like you're something greater than what you were. You got into a pod and they fucking launched your ass into space. That's what happened. You did nothing. You interviewed R. Kelly. Congratulations. Go interview R. Kelly in space. That'll be fun. Send some more trash up there. Alright. Well, that was fun. That really was. Actually, I need to look at my notes again because, god damn it, I don't want to miss anything that I had to say about this. And I think I covered it all. Yeah. I definitely covered it all. Like I said, I was sitting on that for a while. And I know it's old news. I know it's already been done and said, and it's pretty much over with by now. This is my show. And I say whatever I want. And that was well worth saying because it was funny. And it was fun. And I enjoyed it. Speaking of things that I enjoy, here's what I'll close with, okay? I noticed, and I've noticed this for a while, this isn't anything new, but a lot of things that I really enjoyed as a kid were always looked at as, dorky and not cool. And if I talked about it, I'd be made fun of. Like, I was a weird, outcasted kid because I liked Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and professional wrestling. I liked certain bands like Creed and Nickelback. I liked, and those weren't my favorite bands, but I still liked, I said that I liked them, and then I got made fun of because I liked a couple songs. You know what I'm saying? I liked video games, Ninja Turtles, things like this. And that was always this dork stuff. That was always like, what a nerd, what an idiot. Yu-Gi-Oh! What a little dork. All those things I just mentioned have suddenly become so cool since I've been an adult. Like, it wasn't just overnight, but like, now it's not uncool to be like, yeah, Dragon Ball Z fucking rips. Because it does. I've known that since I was a kid. Like, it's not lame to like professional wrestling anymore. It's actually, like, cool. People, like, think it's cool to like professional wrestling now. People love Creed. Creed is, like, the biggest turnaround of a band in history as far as, like, completely, universally hated to all of a sudden, like, most, like, you'd be hard-pressed to not find people that like Creed at this point. I always knew they were good. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Yu-Gi-Oh! People, like, it's not weird like it used to be to, like, just see somebody out there catching Pokemon on Pokemon Go. Or play, video games. You used to be called a video game nerd. Now people make fucking money doing this. People will watch streams of other people playing games. That's where we've gotten to. And the bottom line of that is, I always knew that these things were badass. I had my finger on the fucking pulse of Dragon Ball Z before you guys had that. I knew professional wrestling was badass. I had my finger on the fucking pulse of that when I was 10. Which leads me to the only conclusion I could possibly make, which is that I've always been cool. I was cool before cool was cool. I knew what was up. Y'all are just playing catch up at this point. So, how about that? Dude, when black people started liking Dragon Ball Z, like, that's when I knew I was ahead of my game. Like, I was ahead of my times. I was well ahead of the curve. When black people start liking something, okay, yeah, well, this is officially cool. Like, this is officially being deemed as cool. Well, I was ahead of you a long time before that. So, get in line, brother. I will show you. I will just whatever I think is cool. Just know, if it's not cool now, it's gonna be cool later. Because I got my finger on the fucking pulse of that shit. So, I'm cool. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me this week. Been a minute since I got to do the solo podcast. Very happy to be back doing it. Got a lot of things off my chest. We got to talk about all the stuff I didn't get to talk about the last few weeks, so that was nice. Pray for me, guys. Pray for me that at least the Nuggets or the Avalanche pull this off. Because I'm literally, like, I'm heading down there in an hour. After, when I hit, when I'm done recording this, I'm out the door, okay? And I'm heading down to watch the game. So pray for me. Don't just pray for me. Pray for the people around me as well. Because they're not going to deserve that. And I can't be stopped at that point. Both need to win, or one of them needs to win. That's all that matters to this. And the odds are fairly decent that something like that will happen, but not impossible that they both could lose. So, be on the lookout. You know what happened already. Make sure to give yourself some rest, but also party. Most importantly, though, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it. You gotta keep on keeping on.
Why you talking to microphone? I got a back here. Back of my. Life's a garden, dig it.